Hello everyone, how are you? Gabs here, welcome. Digital beer stream. What's in the glass today? We are here. It's Wednesday, I think it's the 22nd, right? Probably. Yeah, it should be. And welcome everyone. Today, I'm feeling great. I'm having a great t-shirt from waterintobeer. I'll tell you more about it in a second. And really great, I love it. I'm gonna go around with this t-shirt probably for the whole week, which is great. I'm listening a bit of punk rock today for a very good reason, and I'm not really doing it enough, unfortunately. Probably reason is because I've been obsessed with so many different style of music. I've been into reggae, I've been into dub, I've been into techno, I've been into hip hop, any sort of stuff. And you know, punk is that kind of sentiment that you feel like when you don't like too much the society where you are into, and unfortunately, you know, in this modern time when you're growing up a bit, you feel like you don't have the urgency to, you know, fight for what you believe as I used to do before, which is bullshit. Really, is really bullshit, because if you feel like something is not wrong, if you feel like something is not right, is wrong, and you know you can do something, you should really let your voice being, you know, listenable. That's what I learned. And you know, there are lots of interesting connection between music and beer, more than we would think. And you know, there are both things, communities where people feel like really attached to it. And you know, sometimes you can find some similar elements between the two, and I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I'm gonna let someone that knows much more than me talking about it. And one more time, Digital Beer Stream, What's in the Glass. Today is the ground stream, and with the ground stream we have a chat with the best bottle shop in London, UK, and I'm super happy to have for the week, and especially for today, team from waterintobeer. And I love this bottle shop because basically is the most familiar, easygoing, cool, nice little place where you can find all of the most beautiful things in the world, which is music and beer. And you just don't find music and beer, you find some specific style of music, which is according with what team likes and, you know, experience of life. And you also find items to create your own beer, which is a completely different story from what we normally talk in this channel. And it's a completely different point of view from, you know, what normally people in this city, especially craft beer enthusiasts, are thinking, you know, exploring when we are chatting about beer in general. So just give me 1 second, I'm gonna open my beer. So I've been, you know, happy enough to spend my university years opening up bottles with a lighter, which is a great thing. And in the meantime, then I'm gonna start to pour my beer. I just gonna invite team over so we can start this very interesting. And waterintobeer is a beer homebrew shop and bar in Brockley, southeast London. It's really important to remember that. Oh, hello, mate.
Hey, Gabs, how you doing?
I'm very good. How about you?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
Let me put my beer so we can cheers virtually, because unfortunately we can't be in the same place right now. Cheers, mate.
Yes.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well.
I was listening actually a very nice band which is called Mavis, and I'm pretty sure you have some connections with this guy. Like, you know, there is a song with a familiar name for you, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, Mavis. Well, so I went to uni in Sunderland, and a guy called James McMahon was the lead singer of a band called Mavis. After this, he was the editor of Kerrang magazine. But yeah, he wrote a song after the name of our fanzine, which we called Waterintobeer.
Cool.
And he called the song after that, Water into Beer, yeah.
It's a beautiful story. What the story you can find in your about section in the website. We had a chat about it when I first visited you, and I was lucky enough to have a bunch of friends down in Brockley. Maybe you met them a couple of times as well, Francesco and Giorgio. And then they were like, "Man, we have to go in that place." I loved it. And you're doing a great job. And
Thank you very much.
and you know, there are two things that maybe few people in this channel are not really super familiar with. And one is a very simple word. It's called home brewing. What home brewing is?
Well, it's basically commercial brewing on a very small scale. It's brewing a beer at home on your stovetop or something else. So yeah, people can brew from 5 litres up to 70 litres at home. So yeah.
Why doing that? Where's the point?
Well, it means you can experiment. I mean, obviously you can get loads of amazing beers now, but if you like a certain style or a certain beer, you can create what you want. You can play about with everything. You can basically just do what you want to the beer yourself.
Okay. So I've always been fascinated because, you know, when I first had a introduction in the world of beer, I you know, I knew somehow you could do your beer at home. I was just like, you must be like a scientist. You must know the matter and all the science around it.
No, if you know how to cook porridge, you can cook beer, and if you know how ingredients go together, you can work everything out. And it's great fun and it's easy to do.
Right. So there are like some basic rules, like don't use tap water, and
well, there's rules, but rules are there to be broken all the time. So I still use tap water. If I was going to enter a competition, my beer into a homebrew competition, I wouldn't use tap water.
All right.
But most people can't tell the difference. It's just if you've been trained
to do all flavors.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. And the most interesting part of what you're doing in your shop and I'm sure in your everyday life, because we're talking about a attitude, is find a bridge between a music that you really like and an attitude that is really you, the DIY, or if you prefer, punk DIY attitude, and home brewing. Do you see this obvious, or is it more your personal bridge and interpretation?
I think it's obvious, but yeah, that might be just because of myself. But it's a whole do-it-yourself thing. If you can do it yourself, which with pretty much anything you can do it yourself if you put your mind to it, then do it yourself at home. Do it on a smaller scale. Do something for you. Do something for you and your friends, and do it the way you want to do it.
Right.
And put your own personal stamp on it.
Which is brilliant, because you, I haven't tried it yet. Unfortunately, I apologize. I'm waiting to cook the right thing to have your beer. But you send me your own beer. You know, I went through the beer that you had in your catalog in the website. I was checking it out, and then I found this bottle. You know, I'm like, wow, I haven't tried anything like that. This guy made it, and he wanted to share with me. It's almost like over a gift. It's like you making something to give to someone, then have the appreciation for it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. No, totally. They do make good gifts as well. And easy and cheap Christmas and birthday presents.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have a community around Water into Beer, like a community of friends that could be friends more into music, friends more into home brewing, or just generic beer consumer, right?
Yes, yeah. We've created different communities. So we've got our homebrew club who meet on the first Sunday of every month. Mm-hmm. And during the lockdown, we've moved on to Zoom. So we do that every 2 weeks now. So we meet on Zoom or every other Sunday just to catch up how everyone's doing, how the brewing's going. We try and get beers out to some people when we do local deliveries in the area.
Okay, and you also mentioned quite clearly in the website that there are some people somewhere in Scotland that decide to use and almost like to get and that word punk and almost like change the subject, change the the reason because you're using it out there. When you're talking about punk, you're not talking about that kind of punk, right?
I think Brewdog originally were talking about the same punk that I would be talking about, but they've changed so much over the years, and money has changed everything for them. That they've basically, the idea of what they thought punk was originally, and what they thought their brand was, has totally changed from what it was originally for them.
It's almost like saying punk is good business, or an attitude is a good business.
Yeah, it's based. They've used it to sell stuff because they've realised that it can sell. That outsider thing has, they've managed to be able to monetize it basically.
Right. So another question would be, because I have so many questions for you today. One could be, for example, when you are a home brewer, that means then from that time, are you gonna be like always judging the beer from a home brewer perspective, or are you capable to split the home brewer team and the beer drinker team?
I mean, they go hand in hand, but I mean, I think it gives you a more appreciation of commercial brews when you have the knowledge of brewing yourself, and when you know what goes into it, and you can tell the different flavors and what the brewers have done. But it definitely helps with tasting commercial brews and knowing what's good and knowing what I want to get into the shop.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Because I'm almost, curious that if I'm going to learn how to make beer from a homebrew perspective and maybe have a dedicated room in my small one-bedroom flat and just be like, that's going to be the section where I'm going to do that. And from now on, I have a bit better understanding of what I'm going to choose in a pub, a better understanding of what I'm going to buy, and almost being able to say things like, this beer is really well made because they follow some procedures, or maybe like this beer is completely impossible to replicate. It's like having a better understanding overall. So
I mean, I don't think anything's impossible to replicate. I mean, you wouldn't want to be doing Omnipollo stuff at home because it'd be a waste of money. But it's probably a waste of money for Omnipollo, to be fair.
Okay, brilliant. No, well, yeah, I understand that. Well, but you are able, with following your beliefs and following your attitude, you're also able to sell wherever you want in the shop, right? You're happy to sell a pastry stout along a bitter.
Yes, I mean, everyone has different tastes, and there is viability in all types of beer. So if it's well made, then we'll definitely stock it.
Okay. And do you think you manage along your experience to change people's mind from time to time about what's important into beer, what's important, even like let them become home brewers? Did it ever happen to you then? Someone that never did a home brew before did it because you gave them something?
No, yes, definitely. I mean, there's people who come into the shop who just want a pale ale at the start, but then after a few times coming in, having a few beers in, then they get interested. They look over at the homebrew side of the shop and think, I might want to do that. And then they experiment more with their own tastes and then get into, and then start brewing themselves.
Okay. Right. So, yesterday I had a beautiful beer writer, Claire Bullen, and we were discussing about having difficult style getting developed from breweries is almost like a statement, and the brewing were doing within the home brewers being like, you're not gonna be able to make this beer because this beer is very difficult, and it's very difficult to pair with food as well. So my question is, do you think then the market the system, whatever we call it, it could almost like dictate a more difficult way to understand beer or more difficult way to consume beer, to almost take off the courage of the people to become home brewers. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to be able to do a double IPA. I can't be a home brewer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, people have, I think that once you've brewed one beer, then you realise how easy it is, and most people will come back and say, I can do anything with a bit more learning the process. I'll be able to do anything, and with help, which we always obviously give help to everyone, and there are limitations to a lot of people's kits, but it's basically as far as your imagination can take you, you can do at home as any other brewer can do on a commercial kit.
And you will probably say the same to a band of 20 years or something, and then just starting to, you know, play in a basement. You will probably say the same to them, like, try it.
Yeah, exactly. Pick up an instrument and just fucking do it. Just start and then go from there. You'll get better. Every brew you'll get better. You'll learn something. Every gig you'll get better. You'll learn something. You'll learn to sing better. You'll learn some more chords. You'll learn not to fuck up, basically.
And I don't see these happening, unfortunately. I don't really see many bands or singers or painters or photographers really have, you know, the strength to experiment, follow their own way and make it. I see lots of frustration out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, money comes into it all the time, though, doesn't it? I mean, more so with music. I mean, beer is an industry which is money focused because it's people's jobs, whereas music, for a lot of people, is the hobby. It's like a home brewer. But when you get to a commercial stage, you've got to make that money.
Makes sense. So, do you know if there are any circuits of punk gigs serving homebrew beer during the gigs themselves?
Well, we had a guy come in who lives in a squat, and he basically wants to brew. I mean, he's very annoying, so I'm not letting him in my shop again. But he wants to brew beer for his shop, for his squat, for his squat gigs. So he was definitely trying to sell homebrew there, but obviously it's illegal to sell homebrew.
I heard that.
This guy didn't care, but he wasn't making good beer, and he wasn't listening to advice.
I see someone remembered as well.
That's John, who works at Harbour now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you see, this is the beauty. It's like, oh man, I almost dream to being able somehow to go somewhere when I know everything has been made by humans. Then I can trace the ingredients that they use, the way that they, you know, follow to make that specific product, that song, that bread. Somehow I feel like this is not going to happen. I'm based in London. What am I talking about? But you're in London as well, and you believe somehow in this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's possible.
Yeah. No, I mean, with beer, you pretty much know. Well, you can get to know if you drink craft beer, if you drink small production craft beer, like we stock in the shop, you can get to know most of the brewers or know more about them, which is why people liked punk music in the first place, and why I think people like craft beer is that there's no stage. People are friends and people get on with each other, and the stage has been taken away, basically.
I understand that. Well, yeah, like, I love the fact that you saying share the stage into the punk music, you know? It's like craft breweries doing the same. I saw on internet when I first approached home brewing word, then you can find how to make Japer from Tonbridge at home.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's brilliant. It's like, so what's happening if you are going to make a better beer than Japer, which is totally possible?
Well, yeah, there's that's the craft beer community, that's the beer community, as I see it. People are willing to share their recipes. I've been in touch with a number of breweries who have shared their recipes with me when I've had a customer get in touch saying they want to brew this specific beer.
Oh wow.
So breweries are very happy to, most breweries are very happy to share that information, because they're proud of their product, and they're proud that someone would want to try and replicate that at home.
It's like doing a cover.
Yes, well, yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, which you see, I didn't know that. I mean, I know some people in Scotland as well trying to sell. I don't know if they actually selling or is it free to download, like a receipt book for all the beers?
Yeah, that's free to download, and that's a very good thing that they do. Every recipe they do, you can download and just follow that recipe. I mean, it's not very clear. The instructions aren't very clear on there, so it's not very good for first timers. But it does give you an idea of what you need to do and what the ingredients are, which is the most important part, because most people will develop their own processes.
Right. And you know, what kind of products are you selling in the shop? I'm sure you have malt or you know, malt extract, and then yeasts, and then hops, and all the, you know, specific tools that you need to use, right?
Yeah, everything. We sell everything from people who are just starting out who want to do extract kits. So part of the job, most of the job's done for you, and then we do all the ingredients, the malt, the hops, and the yeast, so you can create your own recipes and do everything yourself.
So I can be a regular in your shop, and I can be totally mad with the lemongrass saison from Partisan. And after 2 months, then I'm buying a case every week. I'll be like, Tim, I want to brew this beer. Can you help me? You'll be able to help.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be a pretty simple recipe, but I could get in touch with Partisan and they could point us in the right direction and see where we're going wrong. If we're for sure.
Is there a brewery that you work several times in London or outside London, which you were asking receipts and tips at all, or more than another? Maybe Kennel, I don't know.
Well, we've just had a drop project in the shop. So before the lockdown, we'd had the first of a new series of events in the shop, which was Home Brewers Meet the Brewer. Okay. And JT from Drop Project was the first person in. And Drop Project are a new brewery. They haven't actually got their own brewery yet, but they're very good, and they should be getting a new brewery somewhere around southeast London. And yeah, that was very interesting. JT coming in to speak to the Homebrew Club. And yeah, we've been having supplier problems with homebrew stuff during the lockdown, because a lot of people are starting homebrewing now because they're looking for something to do. So our usual supply chains have cut off, basically. So we've been asking help. Local breweries have been helping us out, getting in malts and stuff. So we've had like Drop Project helping out with that. They've been delivering us some malt so we can get the home brewers the ingredients that they need. Which is great. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I would say the beer community does come together when someone does need something. So yeah, it's good. Fantastic. And you know, again, I think one more time, every single time there has been some problem. For example, I'm having in mind Washington DC for the punk scene. I could speak about the Italian in the 80s scene, which is brilliant. And you know, I remember all the time I was reading in some forums or in zines, concerts
tribute or in support to the guy that went to prison, or the wife that have an issue, or they lost all the instruments, trying to get the money to buy the instruments again to the band. It sounds very similar to what you just said, you know?
Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah, DIY bands will always help each other out because they're all in the same boat. I mean, though there's more of a hierarchy in the beer world, the ones at the top, as far as I can see, help the ones down the bottom. I mean, Colonel got in touch and said, for example, they said, "How are you doing? Do you need any hops?" Blah blah blah. So, yeah, even what you think are the bigger breweries who have been around a long time, they're willing to help out. The very, very small fish in the ponds, and that'll be the same, not just for the shops, it'll be the same for the breweries as well.
Wow, which is great. Yeah. One more question. Do you know if, for example, there is a home brewing scene or community bigger than the one in the UK, or is the UK the bigger in this continent?
There's a massive one in the US, as you'd imagine. So they've got a massive conference every year that everyone in America converges on. And then there's little pockets throughout the world. I mean, we sell stuff to people in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. Well, so you're not allowed to drink, but when they're over here, they come over and buy loads of stuff. So there's pockets of home brewing where it's legal to actually drink. So it's going on all over the world.
It's fascinating, and some of the most interesting brewery stories I ever heard, like Brooklyn Brewery. Steve Indy was a pirate home brewer in the Middle East, which is great because apparently they have a guide which wasn't saying home brewing guide, but a very complicated name to try to, don't look it like it was. But it's incredible. And what brewers think about home brewers? Are brewers interested in home brewers?
A lot of brewers started off as home brewers, and still home brew themselves. Just to experiment at home, keep their hand in, because it's not really the same on a commercial kit than it is at doing it at home. But yeah, a lot of brewers like talking to home brewers because they're interested in the craft. They want to know everything about what they're doing, and brewers like talking about what they do.
For sure. It's like almost, I don't know, playing in a playground with some guys, or just going in a bar with an acoustic guitar and try to, entertain the few people in.
Yeah.
I see it like that. Wow, which is great. Yeah, wow. Okay. And what would I have to say to you? Is there any bands that you will, recommend out there? You told me a few when we first approached, but so maybe we can give, something to listen to.
Well, there's one which is a bit of a crossover about what we're talking about. So this is a brewery called Duck Pond Brewing in Sweden.
Okay.
So the head brewer of Duck Pond used to be in a band called Millencolin.
Yep.
A punk band from the 90s.
Yep. No, that's
so the lead singer of Millencolin is the head brewer and owner of that. He also brews for Wizard Brewing, who are one of the trendy brewers in Sweden now. So yeah, he started in a DIY punk band, Millencolin, and then now he's brewing sour beers. Listen to two of their songs in particular. There's one called True Brew, which is just about brewing a proper beer, and there's one called Sour Days, which is one about drinking sour beer. So definitely recommend those two songs, and definitely recommend Duck Pond Brewing and Wizard Brewing if you like sour beers.
Wow. I'm going quite a lot around London, and I'm browsing many, bottle shop offers out there. I've managed to find beers and I never heard into your offer. Like, which beer, right? The Saison in the 500 ml.
The Kraftwerk one, yeah.
Kraftwerks, there are some New Zealand-based people then told me we can't find that beer in here. And I'm like, how is possible that? What I just had, I didn't know it was, you know, when I tried it, I felt like it was super quality, well made. And then I did my researches and I found out it's a micro brewery, like small.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand beer brought that over. So we do get quite a lot of New Zealand beer over here because of the import of them. They do bring a lot of great stuff over.
Wow. Well, it's fantastic. And, you know, the brewery that you just suggest, I never really heard about it. And despite the fact that there is so much to say about it, it's great. It's fantastic. And, I mean, I can't wait to come to see the shop again. What are you doing in these days? Like deliveries and
yeah, we're doing national deliveries, local deliveries within 3 miles of the shop, and we allow click and collect as well, as long as there's. I mean, we're not getting too many people do that. Most people are still doing the local deliveries. Most people are enjoying being at home. Some people come and see us and want to chat, obviously. But yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, it's an anxious time, and yeah, a lot of people are anxious and bored, which means they want to drink beer, which is good for us. And they want to learn new hobbies, which homebrewing seems to be one,
and again,
which a lot of people are doing. Yeah.
And do you think about doing playlists with YouTube videos or Spotify or any other platform? Because I will listen to your music because you seems like someone that knows what to listen. So, you know, I will do that.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we should set up something up. Yeah.
Shall we start to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that. And yeah, like overall, like as a question, I'm asking everyone, what do you think about is going to be the end of these days? And I'm not just saying from necessarily a political point of view or, you know, generic. What are your feelings? What do you see in 2 months' time?
2 months' time, I think it'll be pretty much the same for us anyway. I think the restrictions will be lighter going out, but the pubs, obviously you're allowed to drink in at our place, and I don't think that'll change. We won't have anyone drinking in probably till Christmas time, I imagine. And I imagine we'll be operating as we are with not even being a shop for at least 3 months' time. So I don't think much will change for us within the next 2 months, unfortunately.
So you see from Christmas something that potentially could be different from now?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, I mean, it's all guesswork, isn't it? But I'd say Christmas, if we're lucky, we're allowed back in pubs and public places of more people.
Okay, so I think my only chance to manage to come down to South London, as I'm based in N4 Finsbury Park, it will be if I convince one of the friends, and he's just connected now and there, to give me a lift when he's doing his home delivery and pop in to say hi to you, because otherwise I'm stuck in M4, I guess. And what would I have to say to you? I'm doing this small competition where I'm asking, you know, if anyone were following us a question, and they can win a beer, a pint from me when the apocalypse is finishing, or we find a solution between with you guys as well. And my simple question is, if you remember, guys, team influences along home brewing, what are they? There is a specific word is made by 3 letters. If you remember that, if you add it on comment, you can win a beer, which is, you know, always a good thing. And in the meantime, team, I really want to say thank you to you for the interview and this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
You are a great chatter. You are a great person. I rarely see people with a genuine attitude, and you sure have it. And you've been fantastic with these beautiful t-shirts. And I recommend everyone to check it out. waterintobeer in the website. Some of the most beautiful brew from around the world I've seen in London so far. And also you can teach people how to make beer as well, or at least provide them with the tools.
Yes, yeah.
which is great. And you also, your deliveries are really quick, which is another super 100 points. Thank you. And stay safe. All the best.
Cheers, Gabs. Thank you very much.
I'm going to see you around. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone.